Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Hair Gaming. We're here with another video covering our favorite game, Last War. So this week we've had a bunch of new stuff come out that we have to talk about. Basically what we're going to do is go over this video and talk about all the stuff that comes out in week 2, as well as how you can prepare yourself for the engagements that you have to deal with for this week. So first, to start off, we'll go with all the new stuff that's come out. Then we'll go with how to navigate all of the challenges and expansion that come with this week. I think this week is a very critical week in terms of making sure that you have space for yourself and like positioning your alliance for success for the rest of the season. But we'll get into that stuff later. Hey there folks, Big Hair Gaming from the future, and I just want to interject into this video to quickly talk about something I'm really excited that I can now offer, and that's memberships for the channel. Right now I'm going to start off with just 2 levels. The first level is just like a simple supporter role that I'm going to call SR Hero. We all know what that is. Basically, for this level, you'll get some like a neat little loyalty badge that you'll have that'll pop up next to your name and comments and live streams and all that sorts of stuff. You get some neat custom emojis that you can use, as well as I'll prioritize responding to you in the comments first when you have questions or comments or all that sorts of stuff. The second level is going to be SSR Hero, which we also know what that is. And for that, you'll get all the previous stuff, as well as a member shout out in videos and live streams and that sorts of thing, as well as access to some members only live chats and members only live streams as well when we stream some content for you guys, just to have fun and we can hang out and chat together. So that's what it'll be offering. If you're interested in doing that and you just want to support the channel, it's not going to be like crazy expensive. It's just going to be a few bucks, but feel free to hit the join button down below the video and check that out if you're interested. The second thing that I wanted to mention is that I want to do a new video series focusing on basically like coaching fans or giving feedback on bases. So what I'm going to be looking for this is I'll at a certain point look at my my post. I'll send some criteria out of like what I'm looking for, but I want people to send me like a short video that goes over their base. You know, show me your heroes, what level, what's the heroes that you want me to talk about. Show me all the heroes, all the gear that you have. Show me your research tree. We'll go over that. You know, show me all the stuff that you have. We'll go over your barracks and kind of get through like what I think that you should focus on next, depending on where you are in the gameplay. If you're preseason, if you're season 1, if you're season 2, so on and so forth. I want to go through and like do a overview video for different folks and give them some direct feedback on what I think they should be doing. And also if there's anything coming up that they should know about in the short term, just so you don't have to watch every video under the sun. Like, what are the things that you can take advantage of that'll be coming down the pipe in short order for you? So I'm going to make a post about that soon in terms of what I'm looking for in terms of what needs to be in the video. So if you're interested in that, feel free to drop a comment down below. If that's something that you think would be a good idea, would be fun to watch or fun to engage in. If you think it's a bad idea, because I don't want to do it if everybody thinks the idea sucks, then feel free to also let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, just wanted to mention those things are coming out, but let's get back to the video. But let's just jump on in and we'll hop into the Season 2 tab right down here. So, for Season 2, what's going down? So first up, we've got blizzards are going to become a thing during this week. Basically, what's going to happen is you'll be notified that the temperature is going to drop at some point. I think we have one on my server coming up real shortly right here. So up here at the top left, we've got about 6 hours before the next blizzard is going to come. It's going to drop by 40 degrees. If you hit this, it'll show you what's going to happen. It's got a level 6 blizzard approaching. For a level 6 blizzard, it's going to be 40 degrees. And basically the way that it works is that for a length of time, you'll have to try to keep your base warm as well as your alliance mates. So when this happens, it's going to be really important that you guys make space for everybody. You can see that we're kind of clustered here. We can really do a better job of trying to fit together, but the downside is that when you use your alliance teleport to position yourself, you just end up getting placed somewhere where it leaves like a little bit of space for you, and you just simply just don't pack in together as well as you could. So on battle days for your VS challenge, like be sure to like take advantage of your alliance attack and position yourself somewhere that makes sense within your hive. Because what's going to happen is once that temperature drops, you're going to go way down. It's going to become way harder to heat your base. Now, you can probably survive if you're boosting your high heat furnace. And what are you going to get for doing that? So if you remember in one of our previous videos for Season 2, down here in the season-specific builds zone, your high heat furnace is going to be here. I have mine off because it's just not that cold right now. I'm sitting at 1 degree, and I'm within the Alliance furnace. I'm sitting pretty, as they say. But right over in here, you're going to be able to level this up. We talked about that in another video, and as you level it up, you're going to increase the cap of your regular furnace being on, as well as increase the height that you can boost it to with overdrive. So if you hit this overdrive, it'll tell you, it'll switch this time of how long overdrive time you have. And I have this bonus of plus 4 degrees because of a special skill within the engineer skill tree that has 3 levels, and it will boost it 2 degrees, 4 degrees, and 6 degrees respectively. So take a peek into the skill tree if you want to grab that. I'm going to turn that overdrive off and bring it back up. I'll leave it on for now because the blizzard's going to be coming in sometime, and I don't just no reason to turn it off. So blizzards are going to be now a thing. So you want to be keep your eye out for that. If you survive the blizzard and you don't get frozen, you do get a number of rewards for doing that. I'll bring it back to here and I'll see if it tells you what you get. So on each stage, you'll have a number of things that you get. If your alliance stays on during the cold wave, you're going to get some rewards, and individually for each thing that you survive, you'll get some rewards as well. I would wager that this is the 6th one that we're enduring, which is why this blizzard is level 6, and presumably they're going to get worse and worse and worse and worse as they go along. So let's talk about some other things associated with the temperature. So how do you survive these higher temperatures that you're going to be enduring as the season goes along? So the other thing, in addition to boosting your own high heat furnace within your own base, is you're also going to want to boost your alliance furnace that your alliance is going to utilize. Now, this isn't really an active thing that you need to do in a direct sense. Whereas in your with your high heat furnace in your own base, you need to be actively hitting buttons in order to boost it. For your alliance furnace, this is going to boost based off of your total collected rare soil. So the more rare soil you have, the more that it's going to boost what your alliance furnace is able to do. Each level that you boost your alliance furnace is going to increase your activation heat by 0.5 degrees. And it's also going to increase your overdrive heat by an additional degree, which you can see here and here. Now, one thing that's going to be really important for you, not only as an individual, but for your alliance as a whole, is that you have to make sure that the collective of you is continually donating to your overall coal. As you level up your alliance furnace, your alliance is going to require greater coal storages in order to operate, and also the overdrive is going to use more coal per minute. So you can see here, we encourage everybody within our alliance, like, make sure you're collecting your coal from the city so that you don't run out as an individual, but also make sure that you're hitting that donation cap to try to dump in as much coal as you can, so that when those blizzards arise, that you're able to weather them, pun intended. So that's enough about the surviving the higher temperatures. Actually, the one more thing that I'll say is that the last bit of that is going to be making sure that you place your alliance furnace within the same zone as the territory that you own. With it, just to jump ahead, this week, level 3 and level 4 cities become available. The thing to note about these is that the city territory will offer a boost to heat, and this is what's going to let you survive these much colder temperatures that you're going to see as you get closer and closer towards the center of the map. I believe each tile decreases the overall temperature by an additional 10 degrees, and the way that you're going to be able to cover that difference is by making sure that you build wherever you have a city. The city is going to give you a big boost to your overall heat. I believe the current temperature without being boosted in this zone is minus 40 degrees, so the city's going to take care of 30 of that, and then between your high heat furnace and your alliance furnace, you should be okay. You should be fine. Like you can see, I'm sitting pretty at 19.5 degrees without even being in overdrive, so we're doing all right. But that'll change once the the temperature drops another an additional 40 degrees. Or maybe it's not additional, but it's something. But it's going to get colder. Don't worry about that. Don't you worry. But that's enough about the temperature. What else do you get going on this week? So one of the other things that I really like is the addition of these polar dishes. You get a new rewards for the season from local good boy doggo, this guy. And basically the way that it works is that whenever you complete your daily tasks, you're going to get some food components, ingredients that you'll have that'll come down to this menu. And basically this is a parallel for the different virus protection things that we had in Season 1, where we would combine them and get a bunch of Season 1 materials that you would use for upgrading your research base and all that other sorts of stuff. This is basically the same thing, except rather than get stuff rather than get stuff for just that, in this case you get coal, but you get that too. But instead you can get a universal exclusive weapon shard, as well as a bunch of materials and resources and so forth. But the biggest thing is that, like, basically there's no reason for you to go for your dog disliking the food. Basically he'll tell you what thing he wants and the recipe that you need to get it. If you have a surplus of certain kinds of things that you don't need, I have one more flour than I need right now, I do have the option to go into here and exchange it with my allies to try to get something that I do need. Everybody's trying to get meat, but I already have some, so I'm not really looking to trade that. But this is essentially how it works. There's no reason to give the dog food that doesn't want. Like, be nice to the dog. He wants a pizza, give him some pizza. Cool. Whoops. And there's one other thing. Let's see. We go to the week 2. So we talked about the cold. We talked about the dog food. So Beast Crisis is the next thing, and we already talked about the factory and the train station. This is the level 3 and the level 4. But Beast Crisis is the next thing that becomes available. So the way that this works is at some point you'll be notified that a beast is coming to attack your alliance furnace. Now, when this happens, you'll get like a marker on the map, very similar to Season 1 when the zombie bad guy was coming to attack your base or your city or what have you. I think it was the city that it would attack. But you'll get a notification just like that. For this one, it'll show up in 2 days. Reset, I guess, in 2 days, or basically 3 days. He's going to show up in 3 days. When he does, you're going to want to make sure that you have your alliance furnace reinforced. And what you can do is you just click on it. You go over to here and you can reinforce your alliance furnace for some amount of time. I presume that both of those folks might just have it left those units there from the last time that we were attacked. But that's essentially what you do, and then you'll fight. I think it's 20 waves. Let me double check. I think you'll fight. Yeah, okay. And you'll get rewards for each wave, but you'll fight 20 waves. Maybe. Oh, 30 waves. My mistake. You'll fight 30 waves of enemies, and if at any point your defenses get breached, then they'll destroy the alliance furnace, and then you have to work together with your alliance mates to rebuild the alliance furnace. During that time, you'll all get like way colder, and you won't have the benefit of doing that. So if you let it lapse for too long, and then a blizzard comes and you haven't fixed your furnace, then it'll be a really big problem because everybody's bases will start to freeze. At which point somebody has to kick their furnace into overdrive, or have someone else free them, and then they can start freeing everybody else. I don't think that that'll happen, though. Like, it has to be a lot of people not doing the right thing for that to happen. But, yeah, that's how the Beast Crisis works. So, before we continue, I want to say if this video has been helpful, feel free to like and subscribe, comment down below. Like, all that sorts of stuff does help out the channel a whole bunch, and I super do appreciate it. Alrighty, so one of the last things that I want to talk about for this video is going to cover what are the obstacles that you'll face in order to get to this point at the end of week 2. So one of the big things is that you're going to continue to need to grow your high heat furnace. You want to keep getting titanium alloy factories and boosting those and increasing your virus resistance overall so that you can continue to challenge the great beasts that will guard the strongholds. The strongholds are how you're going to get more coal. More coal means better factories. Better factories means higher furnace. This is the cycle that it's going to go in. One thing that is different from season 1 to season 2, is that before, I think all of the strongholds were guarded by the same kind of beast or same kind of enemy, whereas here we have different kinds that you'll encounter. You have a bear, a mammoth, and a gorilla. Each of those is going to be weak against a different vehicle type, and you'll probably, as you fight more of them, and the required or the suggested power that you need to face them increases, you're probably going to want to start using some of your other teams to help give you an advantage. This is where the folks who have started to push their air teams in season 1 are really going to start to pop off, and anybody who is starting to focus on their missile team or has been focusing on their missile team up till now will start to flourish as well, because you'll have some extra damage that you're going to be able to get against those types of enemies, provided that they're like reasonably leveled and they meet the suggested power anyway. But to talk about that a bit and go over it, some things that we've experienced, the virus resistance required is very relentless as you get closer and closer to the center. Because your squad's power is going, or the suggested power that's required is going to get closer and closer to your squad's power. So this is only like a level 3 digging stronghold. But when you're going for level 4 and you're going for level 5, that required power is going to get a bit higher. And the debuff that you get from having a lower VR, virus resistance, than what's required is going to be that much more impactful. Now, for our alliance, we have a couple of folks who are our strongest hitters who are well above the suggested power. Like certain ones might be, 21 million suggested power, and these guys are in the 30 range, 29 range, 28 range. And yet, even with a small like debuff, like 4% or even like 12% or whatever, not that big. Even when the math shakes out that we're still well above punching weight for the suggested power, it feels like to us that the amount of damage that we're doing just really isn't reflected by what we expect to be seeing. Which is to say, like sometimes it's like we're hitting and we're doing 2% damage or 3% damage, where we would anticipate, even with a little bit of this debuff that we're dealing with, that the damage output should still be higher. So what I suspect is that there's some extra little damage padding, some calculation that kind of squashes your overall damage, or puts a limiter on it. Like maybe you can only get a certain amount of damage done per hit maximum if you have a virus resistance deficit for fighting that particular level. Now for us, we are almost always fighting at a lower, at some negative, because we want to try to push ahead as fast as possible. Taking more territory means more rare soil. More rare soil means you're going to boost your standing for the end of the season. Now you do have opportunities to change that and like attack other people later in the season. We'll talk about that later. But we do try to get ahead of the 8 ball, get more coal faster, progress and do all that sorts of stuff. So this has been largely our experience. What I would be curious to hear about is if you are a part of Alliance where you guys don't fight a beast until you have enough virus resistance. Like, what's your experience like? Are you doing 10% damage per hit? Are you doing like 20, or is it closer to like 5, kind of like we are? I understand that it's going to depend on the teams and who's attacking and all sorts of stuff, but I'm just curious to hear what other people's experience are. But yeah, that's going to be the main thing. So when you're fighting, if you're fighting at a deficit like we are, one of the most important things is going to be that the person with the highest virus resistance should be the person who leads the rally. That is to say that like they don't need to be the strongest person in the alliance. However, they just need to be the person who starts the rally, because everybody in that party will use that level of virus resistance in the calculation when it's done to determine how much damage you're going to do, or how much damage how much of a damage debuff that you'll take in that. So that's just something to be aware of. Now, the last thing I'll say that you can do to give yourself a leg up in fighting the giant beasts and trying to get as much damage as you can is going to be taking advantage of some stuff that's in the war leader profession. So in the war leader profession, if we jump in here, there's a whole bunch of skills that are going to be related to your total damage output and doing more damage against monsters, doing more damage against other players, all that sorts of stuff. But the main thing that I'm focused on is the skill that you can unlock at level 40, which is the charge banner. Now the charge banner, you throw that down, it's basically the complement to the engineer's skill, which is to throw down a banner that allows your allies to do more damage to anything that has integrity, which is like buildings and other stuff. For the charge banner, this is just going to do an additional 2% damage to any allies whose base is within that range. And it stacks up to 5 times, meaning that if you have 5 people who are at least level 40 in their profession, and it's my opinion that by this part of Season 2, if you grab the Season Pass, you'll also grab a couple of tokens that will give you some additional skill points as well. But by this point in Season 2, you should definitely be at least level 40 and should have access to the skill. So if you have 5 people in your alliance, that's an additional 10% damage, which can, if you need it, after you have reached the necessary virus resistance, can save you a good number of troops if you use it. Additionally, it'll save you troops if your deficit is a bit larger and you're taking a big debuff. It can help soften that debuff a little bit and help your whole collective hit a little bit harder for 30 minutes. Now, it does have like a nearly 3-day cooldown, so you can't use it like every other day, but it does help and it is pretty useful. If you have 10 people who have this skill, then you can rotate, who's using it and make sure that you always have 5 per people at a time who are able to take advantage of it. But I think this is a good skill that will help you deal some extra damage and also soften the blow as you go into Season 2. But yeah, I think will bring our video to a close. That's about the size of it. If this video was helpful to you, you learned some stuff, good content, all that types of stuff, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out a whole bunch. Share it with your alliance mates. I have tons of other videos on tips and suggestions and ways that you can make big points or avoid the mistakes that I've made. But yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.